Hi guys, and welcome to 2018 CAT Taroscope and my review for 2018. This is a general review. I want to see all signs and I want to see what the general energy will be. So it's worth to mention that we are also entering a year number 11. 11s are very spiritual. Aquarius rules number 11. This is not to say that everybody reaches 11's potential. You see, in numerology we have 1 to 9, and then we have special numbers, 11 and 22. These numbers are given mastery. They're given special abilities in achieving certain things. These abilities are not given because we were born in that. We have to really, really work hard throughout our lives to really deserve them. For example, most 11s are going to spend most of their life up to their, I would say, 40s or maybe even 50s, really baking their trade and being exposed to all kind of circumstances. In tarot, justice, strength, because these two cards are interchangeable in different decks, are 11. However, I also associate the High Priestess with 11. She is represented with the Roman 2, which to me does look like 11. 11 is a number of illumination. So 1 is a leader. 1 is a leader of the leaders, but also 1 plus 1 is 2. So check it out. In 11, we have unity of leadership and softness. Hence, 11s are trained to be healers all their lives. As you can imagine, I'm a number 11, and I'm telling you this from experience in my own skin. It took me really up to recently to really realize how things should be positioned, and yet I don't have all the answers. I am still continuing to work on them. So now as I was laying down these cards, as you have seen, and I did put them on a fast, we do have 11 that reappeared, or appeared rather to say, and we do have the Master, which is 22. We also have a 2 over here, and we also have 1 over here, and we also have 0, which is kind of like a baseline. So it is really confirming that numerological number 2, year number 2, which is also going to be really good year for everybody who is a number 2, because you see, we 11s, we live most of our lives as number 2. Number 2 means that we have to learn how to cooperate with others, but not to suck up to them and not to give in to them. Learn how to have our own spine while still actually accomplishing our things. This is really hard, and I really believe that was like the guiding principle behind the Greek what they call it, councils, right? Because first of all, you had to be 45 to enter it, and then that was assumed that you have learned lessons on your own skin, and hence you'll be able to better kind of handle them. So the very first card that came out from Earth Magic Oracle cards is Autumnal Equinox. Autumnal Equinox. We say fall here in North America, and release. So let's call it Fall Equinox. So what do we really see here? It's kind of interesting because I kind of like aligned this and wanted to interpret this sort of like as per quarters as well as globally. But it was kind of really interesting. This was the very first card that appeared. And in many areas of the world, trees prepare for the winter and conserve their energy by contracting their life force, right? Which is they release their leaves, which have required the rays of the sun and nourishment from the earth in order to maintain robust growth and appearance. It is kind of like not a decision that trees will make, at least not in the usual sense, right? Instead, it's a natural response to the decreasing cycle of light that sets up the gradual and steady release of the tree's leaves. How remarkable it is that these trees, and actually for that matter, all of the Earth Mother's children, simply know what to do with the changes in climate. Don't you wonder how sometimes it would be so nice to be programmed and know how to do and when? Although this seasonal shift appears to be a death of sorts, it's only preparation for the next cycle of life, one that will naturally follow the more extreme contraction of winter, as kind of an aspect of the life, death, rebirth cycle, right, that we find is represented in so many different ways. So, being the first card, and after shuffling, I kind of stopped this and I was thinking, okay, how do I put this together? So I think this is what it means. To start out the year, it's the time to let anything in our life fall away that is no longer useful or needed for the emerging expression of who you are. You see, let's go back to that number 11. I just told you, I had to live most of my life, and most of the time, I will live as a number 2. In order to live as number 11, you really have to figure out what is important. And 99% of the things will not be important. So this is also telling us, right, that we have to shed what has become burdensome and what no longer is congruent with our soul's purpose. We need to conserve our energy by allowing ourselves more rest, while at the same time making preparations for the following seasons. In this case will be winter season. So interestingly enough, the very first quarter here is a winter, and it's asking us to kind of let go, especially look in material possessions. What is the guys that you really don't really need? Because number 11 is very altruistic. They are not motivated by money. Be really brutally honest with yourself, because you have to figure out what you can give away and what has to be released, right? This card also tells me that we should consider shedding relationships that possibly serve their purpose and they're no longer viable, as well as work or a job that maybe has become devoid of interest and passion. With release comes a sense of being much lighter. I guess just like these trees, and they're kind of like openly naked as their leaves kind of departed from them. Life is ready to birth following a period of being quiet and going through gestation. So let go of whatever has outlived its purposefulness, I would say, and trust that something else will take its place. So I always advise, clean your closets, clean your house, make a room for something else, because it's just not possible to add more things in a glass that is full. We all keep saying, oh, I want this, oh, I want that, but then where is the room to place this? You have to understand that physically and spiritually we kind of like react in a similar way. We have to have a space to kind of place this in. And my Cat Tarot people, you, yes you are here because you do want to become a better person. And you are a better person just by listening to this, just by doing the small changes. It takes so little to change this world. And together we can do it. It takes literally one person to actually start the motion. And I think we are moving in this direction because the second card was crystals and focus. One of my favorite cards because my personal favorite color is purple. And this is an amethyst crystal cave that's sort of like bathing in the river or water. And also what I really like here are these kind of points of light, right? And this is kind of indicating that it has a spiritual and healing force. And the crystals do have this special, let's call it, magic, right? they have been used many years for decoration, but like in particular purple has been used by royalty and by clergy because it also had a higher purpose, which was to connect us with our purpose and who we are supposed to be and open up our psychic capabilities. So since the violet color is the same as the crown chakra, it has often been referred to as a spiritual stone. So the nature of quartz crystals, the second most common element in the Earth's crust, is they help focus the power of our life, force, or spirit. And where attention goes, power flows, and crystals magnify this power tenfold. Our intention influences where our attention goes. When we are consciously aware of our attention, it facilitates the focus of the spiritual power and also supports the manifestation in reality. So, if you only heard blah, 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 I get it. First of all, you're going to be provided a link, and it's a quick link to Amazon where you can get yourself an amethyst crystal. I highly advise you do that because it's simply a stone that makes you think, makes you wonder. Just by sitting in front of you, it's going to give you a direction. It's the stone that rules us instead of us ruling the stone. So this is telling me it is time to bring a complete focus to the subject that we really want. So of course we cannot put something new in the house unless we clean it. So we are starting with that motion, and then we are really thinking what we want. Whether this is a project, relationship, or simply a relaxing time that we want to spend walking in the nature, we have to kind of like realize that we need to be present for it. And we need to kind of like really release our wishes to the universe. So the crown chakra is the top chakra that kind of opens up. That's why people say love and light, because through crown chakra, through the spine, that light enters and helps us to kind of go in this direction that we want. And it has to be free. So you can get the circulation of light by actually, and connect to your karma, by actually having the small steps, as I'm telling you, by focusing and clearing it. This is actually going to help us have this crystal clarity, as they say, right? And be in the flow of life force and have actually become one with it. So then our wish is not going to be some wish, something that is somewhere else written, or what they say, Dr. Phil, just write what you want and just wait for it to happen. It doesn't work this way. You have to be realistic with yourself. You have to see what you cleared. You have to see what possible issues you had. Did you handle too many things at once? Do you need to kind of focus on fewer things than usual? So guys, keep your eyes, ears, and heart focused on that what you need to pay attention to, and miracles can be created. I do wish you to focus on 2 or 3 things. And I do not advise to focus on, let's say, a person. I would focus on a concept. If this is love and spiritual union, I would say, I need to create that. This is my focus. Once when you go into, he has to be 6 feet tall, she has to be blonde, thin model, you're wasting the gifts that the universe can shower you. Because everybody gets what is perfect for us at the time for our learning lesson. Because we have these soulmates coming, but we also have a spiritual contract, or as I call it, the karma contract. You guys have all received a special offer for karmic contract to figure out what you can actually fix and what you can actually pay attention to, because it does help. For me, I wish I had that done for myself, because I kept repeating one mistake after another. I kept meeting the same person in a different body and repeating my mistakes until I had that tower moment and exploded in my face. And by the way, we do not have the tower the entire year. Isn't this awesome? So look at that. It kind of like makes sense that the next phase would be this rainbow. And isn't this something that we always, and I don't know which one of you doesn't stop in awe by seeing something so beautiful? So what is rainbow? It is created by the collaboration of sunlight and water in the atmosphere. You can do it yourself simply, right? By washing the car. So what happens? The water droplets become tiny prisms that collectively diffuse and disperse light onto a ribbon of colors, right? And then we see every hue that we are capable of seeing on this planet. So rainbows symbolize many things, right? Including good luck, bridge to heavens, and abundance. It is really difficult for any of us to ignore the majesty of rainbow, right? And this gentle power. It is like almost like gods are smiling at us. So when you see the rainbow, the storm has passed, and it is time to enjoy the refreshing beauty of this cycle. Maybe even if times have been difficult, even if clearance of things basically wanted us to kind of deal with, things that maybe we didn't want to deal. If we did that, we are going to be rewarded, right? Don't just look at, quote unquote, the brighter side, because this is called also blessings. Don't try to adhere to some, academic mantra that has no heart and has no depth. I hear people repeating their positive affirmations. Let me tell you, it doesn't work. So instead, show your genuine gratitude in words and in deeds to the other people. This ever-evolving process of life itself is a blessing, and it is an opportunity to exist as a human being on Earth. Our planet is truly a beautiful garden. Let's keep it. We are so close to destruction, guys. Do you know that not a single psychic, not a single, as they call them, eye-seers, see this planet past year 2100? Most of us are parents. We would like our children to have their children and so on and so forth. But it is on us and upon us to kind of give love to the planet, because planet was giving this love to us all along. So even though, as I said, this planet is possibly a really beautiful garden, maybe sometimes doesn't appear to be so. Sometimes all we see is wars and issues, right? Now, keep thinking about the blessings. And as far as blessings, I want you to bless your difficult or even painful experiences and let them go. I think this is sort of a second call. And then new things will happen. The very last card here that I have is a new moon. And I love this new moon because it comes with this like such a loving couple gazing the romantic sunset. So it is a time for the new beginning. 11 year after all is going to help all of you who are willing to be light workers. Yeah, and this is what makes my channel different. I don't just give you some quick get together, or he's going to leave you, he's going to come back and not to come back. Yes, you get that part as well. But this is the key part, because we are an army of do-gooders. We are an army of people who can actually move us forward. And for those of you who do really want to do that, it's a promise that we are going in this direction. So whether this is to help others, to go to the higher realm, to launch a project, a new relationship, or a new something that kind of has been tucked away for a later date, this is the time. We did set intention. We did kind of give our blessings. And now it is a time to emerge. And anything that has been in the dark, maybe some of us wonder, will this ever happen? Rest assured, do this job, do this work that I have asked you to do, and it will happen. The next step, this step as a new moon, is to put into action what is required to fully realize this idea. Because as you know, moon has the phases, right? It initiates another lunar circle, right? It's moving from darkness to fullness and then back again over approximately 1 month. I don't know, it's like 28.5 to 29 days. The promise is that the moon is going to be there, right? As long as the moon exists. So whatever the new project is, it has to be done on healthy grounds, because obviously we have been asked so many times over this year to do it. This is number 11. I told you, number 11 is not an easy number, but it gives you numerous rewards if you're willing to do the work. You will not believe the red carpet treatment. And it is just like that. You're going to say, oh my gosh, I'm rewarded for who I am, for just being nice to people. So this card promise has two meanings. It can be a commitment and guarantee to yourself or someone else that a particular thing will happen, or it can imply that something specific is expected to happen. When you align your will with the will of spirit, and when you focus upon what you wish to have happen, then this promise will be kept. So I was going into so many details about these 4 cards because as I noticed this waterfall down in the other decks, it kind of like summarized really succinctly really the rest of the story. So let me explain. Look at this. In the other cards, what do we have? In tarot, we have major arcana and minor arcana. There is a huge difference. Arcana means secrets. And those are those universal secrets that we are here to actually go and get through the dark and get into the light and kind of like move into the better life. Third eye chakra came out. The crystals came out. That message repeated. And so did the solar plexus chakra, which is the center, which kind of regulates both our connection with the other people and our ability to give the confidence, as well as our comfort with that we can handle daily tasks. So we have transformation, we have awareness, we have balance, we have trust, we have completion, and we have the master. I have to tell you, I am so beyond impressed what kind of cards we have. So let me give you sort of like a little information about the first quarter. The first quarter is going to be some kind of transformation. So in the other decks, this card is called Death card. And that card with itself carries that mission. Sort of like it can be very ominous, kind of like and strange and harsh, but can also be a beginning of a new phase, such as death of pregnancy is the beginning of a child. So hence it's kind of very joyful occasion, right? So it's asking us to release what doesn't work and actually see what we can do differently. Because remember, if you keep doing the same things over and over, we cannot expect different results. It's also asking us to kind of like attend to new vitality. Look at that. This is also a purple card. And I don't know if you can see it with the sliding, but again, it's connecting to this like 2 chakra sort of like focuses that we need to have. Telling me, and there is this rainbow motive again, telling me that maybe if we need to kind of go to a new fitness routine, or if we want to exercise, we kind of have to kind of like realize what we neglected, because it's reversed. And so is this card. Awareness reversed, again, look at that. It's again telling us about this crown chakra. Again, it's telling us about the magic and about certain things that we should be able to connect and to create. So when awareness is reversed, just like new vitality, this is kind of telling me that some of us are not really aware, and maybe we have been going through some kind of suffering. And suffering is very much like stale water, right? When you drink water, everything seems to be okay. Leave it in a glass, it's going to get icky and yucky. So we need to kind of at least kind of acknowledge what we need to release in order to know how to transform. And then we are giving the tools how to do that. And creator here is basically the Zen master. Look what he has. He has the solar plexus chakra, right? So this card invites us to basically recognize and participate in understanding that, you know, everybody who mastered this kind of fires, the solar plexus, these are the fires of passion, right? This is the person who is able to kind of create a better thing for themselves and for everybody else. Because as you know, without fire, it will be hard to survive. And sometimes also fire can go out of control. So it has to be integrated, that there is no longer any difference between who this person is inside or who we are inside and in the world outside. So that's generally the gift of understanding and integration, right? So the gift of light that I was telling you about. So this is King of Fire or King of Wands, that tells us that anything that we undertake now with the understanding that all that we want to undertake, what has to come from maturity, will bring enrichment to our own lives and to the lives of others. Using whatever skills you have, whatever you have learned from your own life experience, it is a time to express yourself. So this card here tells me that must be some kind of hidden masterpiece inside of you guys. Maybe it was on a back burner. Maybe you were told you cannot create it. Because this is generally in the other decks called a magician, who can create anything. And then it's saying, oh no, I cannot do it. Maybe we convinced ourselves we cannot do it. Maybe others convinced us that we cannot do it. But this is telling us, yes, you can. You're carrying a masterpiece hidden within you, but you're standing in a way. So just move aside and the masterpiece will be revealed, right? So everyone is a masterpiece, because God never gives birth to anything less than that. Everyone carries that masterpiece hidden from many lives, not knowing who they are and just trying on the surface to become someone. So how to do it? Drop the idea of becoming someone, because you already are that masterpiece. You cannot be improved. You have only to come to it, to know, to realize it. So it is understanding that what you are bringing to the table is important, and that what you're bringing to the table should be honored, that what you're bringing to the table should be respected. It is how we do it, how we say it. And I would say for some of you, that will be also some people that we possibly need to get rid of. People, relationships, and stuff. Oh my gosh, especially if you live in North America or Europe, or I would say Australia, sort of like the first world countries, I would say, we have so much stuff. And there are so many people who don't have them. So guys, let's transform. Let's see what is important. In the second quarter, when we need to focus, we will be challenged. And this is what happens with number 11. And we have this balance. Any imbalance is going to be corrected. Look at that. We have the circular motion here yet again, right? So it's like 3-4 times that we have it here. So we kind of like have to realize that we probably already have everything we need to have. And Nine of Fire is talking about a strategy. Here is talking about focus, the spiritual growth. But hey, just because we focus and sit in front of the fireplace and we want the soulmate to arrive, hey, unless we do something, unless we, let's say, get ourselves in shape, kind of create the profile, go and meet other people, it's not going to happen. So this is talking about some kind of strategy, some kind of like creation of it, even though maybe that didn't work in the past. And I think this is why this came back, saying maybe certain things didn't look in the past, but maybe just a small shift in a different direction will actually bring us to different results. This is not all about just winning and losing, right? This is about the heart. This is about what is the good for us. Especially this applies to people who are in some kind of like 3 people situation. Resolve it. Do you know how? Get out of it. It's as simple as that. Nobody needs to suffer. This definitely card says that there is suffering that is kind of included. So it's asking you to transform out of that suffering. You are right to demand the truth, because look at that. She's steering it. She's demanding the truth. She wants to let this light in, right? She wants to ground herself. And it is not all about the victory, but I think this card in here is saying that we have to redefine it. This victory should be about ourselves. This card here, again, is basically what happens when we don't know how to balance things properly. When, we forget that our mind is meant to be a servant, and we allow our mind to run our lives. Look at this head. It's filled with all kinds of mechanisms, and this mouth is ranting and raving, right? And the whole surrounding atmosphere is kind of being polluted, as you can see. But this I don't know, what is this? Factory, I guess, chimneys. But it's probably talking about factory of arguments and opinions. I don't know how often you guys to go to Facebook, Instagram, television, chat rooms. Everybody has their own 2 cents, and everybody has to have a snarky, smart comments, because simply we feel in a world that is kind of like really intruding upon of us. But also, we partially are responsible for ourselves, right? Some of us can say, hey, wait, the mind is what makes us human. It's the source of all progress. It's the source of all truths. It's like what makes humans better than anybody else. Well, if you believe that, try an experiment. Go into your room, shut the door, turn on a tape recorder, and give yourself total permission to say whatever it is, quote unquote, on your mind. If you really allow it to all come out without any censorship or editing, you'll be amazed at the amount of rubbish that comes out of our mouths, right? So this is the Page of Clouds, or Page of Swords. And it's telling us that somebody somewhere is stuck in a head, or in a head trip. So take a good look and make sure this isn't you. If you're guys dealing with somebody like that, who is trying to force some kind of control or their vision of truth, because these 3 cards are very kind of like mind cards. These are air cards. Look at this. Air, 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 air. So to me, what is amazing about that is that the lots of, from the first 6 months, will be in the realm of thinking. So this is going to be very, very important to address, that we don't overthink, that we actually have to go with emotional response, where we already know where we don't feel right, and simply figure out what better ways we can go about it. Maybe what is the better partner for us, and what is the better situation for us. Seeking the truth, I more or less see what is the truth for us. I think these 2 faces, these 2 minds, are our mind, because sometimes we think one way and then somebody else convinces us into something else. Nothing wrong about that. It is okay to change your mind. Now, this is the card that tells you that sometimes people can be sneaky, and if you really know who you are, and knowing who you are is coming from our solar plexus, so I would advise solar plexus chakra exercises, sitting in the sun, that kind of things, because you see, she's kind of letting that thing come through. Then we would know if somebody is telling us the truth, if this is also our truth. And if it isn't, we are just going to let go of that. So this is not about winning against somebody, but it's, again, I reiterate, winning ourselves, because we will be so close to completing that journey, to kind of putting this last puzzle in who we want to be, that it's going to be almost like you can almost touch it, you can almost feel it, and yet it's going to be some kind of wall, because this card came reversed. We will still need to put the final touches, because to become a number 11, to live number 11, you're always and always and always being challenged. You're always being thrown something else. So just don't say, oh, well, I did this easy exercise and something else happened and now I don't want to do it. This is what kind of year is going to be. Huge benefits, but going to be lots of work. You cannot give up, because the completion is very near. This like Mona Lisa smile, this everything is right here. We cannot go back, guys. We can only go forward. And I wish that all of us go forward in a much better us. So this is the last call for us to walk away from things that don't work. Look, is this kind of chest of money or old memories or something that we have accumulated with somebody so important if somebody is not treating us right? Did you ever ask yourself, is there something else out there better for you? Did you ever ask yourself if you trust yourself and if you want something better? Did you ever ask yourself why you haven't done certain things? Why didn't you open your arms and fly? Trust reversed, or the Fool card reversed, tells me that maybe there is still a concept that has been lost on us, even in the third quarter of the 2018. Remember, you can only go to third eye chakra if you conquer all the other chakras. In particular, two of them will be very prominent. Also, what I find interestingly is like these two colors are also opposing colors on the spectrum. So 11 means, as I told you, there are two ones, leaders of the leaders, but also a very feminine principle. This is kind of very difficult, meaning you can say very, very harsh words to someone. It is how you say it. And it is to say it really, with real intention to help them and them understanding that this is what you're doing. But rewards, guys, are astonishing, right? Not only do we have this spiritual union, but we also have this Master card. So what is the spiritual union, guys? This is a soulmate card, but not kind of like any cheesy soulmate card. This is like a really, really good one. This is like when you kind of look at this, again in the third eye, you connect with someone. For those of you who did your work, who didn't kind of tuck things away, just continue things the same old, those of you will be actually uniting with somebody. Maybe you already have a relationship that has been suffering. Maybe some of us will have this relationship that was more or less based on somebody always upping us one, or somebody always need to look better, or needing to be admired, or we felt that somebody's taking away maybe our peace of mind, maybe money. But we have been working all year long to shed this, to get to this union. And guess what? Number 22. We have mastered it. So the master is Zen, is not a master over others, but the master of himself. And I don't know if you can see it, this also is a purple card. So his every gesture and his every word reflect his enlightened state. So as I told you, he has no private goals, right? So he has no desire that anything should be other than the way it is. His disciples basically gather around him, not to follow him, but simply to soak up the presence and be inspired, simply to learn. This is somebody who who doesn't do things because he thinks he has to create something. It's somebody who just really enjoys, and he kind of doesn't mind sharing what he or she has. If you guys find such a master, somebody who can help you along your path, who can guide you, you're going to come to that spot yourself really, really fast, and you'll be blessed. If you can't, keep on searching, because by the end of the year, you're supposed to get there. So keep on moving, guys. So 2018, I actually pulled one more card, which I haven't shuffled in front of everybody, but it's this one. Oops. Loyal Heart. And I'm going to read to you what it says. It has a number of layered messages, and I really like to see two owls, right? Two owls represents wisdom, but in this case represents the heart. So it says this: evidence of loyalty will appear in your life. By the way, Aquarians and number 11 is known for loyalty. And if you're telling me, oh my gosh, Kat, what are you talking about? I know this Aquarius and he or she cheated on me. Yeah, that's a number 2. That's a very beginning existence, because they were supposed to spread their wings and fly. They still haven't reached that. But this is for other people who did their work, right? So altogether, this year is going to have this flavor that others will prove faithful to us, and we will in turn be able to fully commit to them. So there is a sure and abiding certainty in your heart. Know that Spirit is always loyal to you. No matter the outer circumstances in your life, trust and have faith, for you are eternally loved, always divinely protected and divinely directed. For the relationship, it says, your partnership, friendships, and romantic relationships will have many qualities in common right now. Honest devotion, faithfulness, and a loyal heart are being shown to you. Are you as loyal in return? Now is the time for heartfelt commitments and trusting in divine protection. Prosperity message. Your long-term loyalty to your goals is becoming evident in the world of conditions, where your aspirations for success assume form in reality. Success is finally taking shape. If you are loyal to your dreams, faithful to your plans, while remaining flexible and devoted to serving others, you will be shown proof of your true prosperity. This is a time for a joyful celebration of spirit and manifesting a partner. And lastly, we also get protection message. Are you stubborn, or are you overly tenacious about an idea? Or have you become so attached to something that you just don't know how to let it go? Could it be that it's become so much a part of you that you don't want to know, or you wouldn't know who you are without it? Now it is time to look at outdated beliefs, old ideas, and misplaced loyalties. Betrayal is only a signal that it is time to prune away all who don't deserve your trust and have no place in your life. Be new, think new, and open your heart to new things. Let go of the old and all your attachments. Spirit has awesome plans for you. Make some room. So guys, as you can see, this talks about betrayal. It's talking about that maybe we have been betrayed, and maybe we are betraying ourselves. This is asking us to let go of the past. This is asking us that if something is out of balance, because this is a karmic number and it is a number 11, that things eventually will be in balance. We eventually will have this trust. We eventually will open our arms, and things will come. Things will come. We need to kind of get the strength in who we are, what we want, and then walk away from things that are not important, that no longer serve us. Let bygones be bygones, and get rid of the people who upset you. And if you spend time being upset or mulling over certain issues, it's not going to serve the purpose. The best cause of action, put it finishing touches and say, hey, Thank you. Thank you for being a part of my journey. It is time for me to move on. And I'm moving on because I'm becoming the master. I do love you. However, my love has to be given to somebody else at this point. So thank you guys for this general introduction. Now we are going to go in particular signs. Hi Scorpios, this is Kat and welcome to 2018 forecast. So, you have seen me shuffle in a very kind of like hectic way because this beautiful program that I've got kind of can speed things up. So without further ado, let's jump in. I already know that this year is going to be spectacular for you, but just think of this reading as your homework. Ask yourself if you want to conquer it. Because if you do conquer it, there will be some amazing results. After all, guys, to start with, and of course I have to mess everything up, you did get third eye chakra. Third eye is the vision forward, and you got the world card or embrace to boot. So I am not worried about you. But this is not to say that it's going to be easy. You guys will have to take out the trash. And take out that trash not onto somebody, but from your own head. So first opening card, you got radiance. You got this like summer solstice. I'm sort of like more or less seeing this as the first quarter, second quarter, third quarter, fourth quarter. But I also see that this kind of does have a major message as well. Right? So summer solstice is basically definitely connecting us to this basically power of the sun. This is like what everything rotates around, right? We just cannot sustain life without this basically gorgeous star. And the word solstice originates from the Latin word solstitium, I believe, which means stationary or stopped, right? Stopped sun. Which this is basically because twice during the solar year, the sun appears to kind of rise and set in the same place for several days. And it seems to be taking a much needed rest before making the next kind of like difficult circuit across the sky, right? So it's going from one solstice to the next, right? So with the summer solstice comes the culmination of the sun troubles that have led to the longest day of the year. And the light is basically at its fullest. That's why we have such a gorgeous image over here, right? And hence we have the celebrations around. So that would be the 21st, I would say, of June. And this is kind of like, hey, the summer has arrived. So this is basically when we get this born feeling. For those of us in the northern hemisphere, for those of you in the southern hemisphere, we are talking 21st of December, right? So we are just, you guys getting right into it. So it's almost like that this kind of vibrates to you guys in a different way, as well as kind of like being pushed through it, like literally, versus the northern hemisphere is more or less metaphorically, because this is telling me right off the bat, you guys are going to start to shine. And so let the radiance inspire basically that inner radiance, right? So release your concerns about anything that you have to plan for the future. That's something, right, to do, because you really shouldn't be thinking forward, because this is where you're getting until you take that garbage out. So you kind of like really have to figure out how to let that light, how to let that space within you to kind of like clean, because sun has a cleansing effect. It has calming effect. So it's something that kind of takes away your worries and cares, right? This is always good to kind of join with something physically active. If this means your new resolution to lose some weight, I am not setting you up on a project. This is more or less just to keep moving, to be part of something, dance, sing, but really, really go outdoors. And I don't care if it's like minus like 100, go outdoors. And don't let your negative thoughts or habits to stop you, because then the dark is setting in. This is asking for the maximum expansion, for a maximum light to come in. So it is when you become in love with life that you naturally become to radiate that love. So during that part of your cycle, your capacity to love will be greatly amplified. So this is one of those sweet ironies of life. The more love you give, the more returns to you. It doesn't happen right in the moment. You can wait for decades for that to come back, but it is there. This is why we call it paid forward. So guys, start with smiling a little more. Notice the beauty of nature. Experience this joy in your heart. Kind of like see the humor when you lose something. Laugh at yourself. Show your love, especially to those with whom you're closest. And don't forget your pets. They are here on this planet with you just for one reason, to show you how to love. And then smile even more and watch how the world around you really lights up. Because you guys are moving on. There is generally, this card is called Chariot in the other decks. But in this deck, this kind of becomes a little kind of different. Because after all, we have just passed this kind of stage of choices where what is it we choose? Where do you want to go? How and what kind of vibrations we want around this? Some of you can think this is like a frou-frou concept, but I have seen it happen. You change yourself and you change your life. You change who you are. It's just like a magnet. You all of a sudden starts attracting different things. And you're getting somebody else who is vibrating with exactly the same vibration. So guys, clean the dirt to get something really right. Because we all want this right, but we are not willing to clean the dirt. Remember, you cannot go up the stairs and down the stairs at the same time. Who would you attract right now? And don't think about the gorgeous part of who you already have built. This is great. But think of the bad, dirty parts that you also have. That's also what you are absolutely able to attract right now. So clean up your house. And this is absolutely telling me, because you're getting beyond illusion card, it's again talking about your third eye, which is closed right now. I am not saying you're not spiritual. I am saying that the cards are saying, go higher, Scorpio. You guys no longer going to be Scorpions this year. This year, you're meant to be Phoenix. So let's not go all the way up in one shot. Let's go from this Scorpion to Fish, to Eagle, and then to Phoenix. You are on a basically path to become a completely different person in a year's time. This card generally talks about the past and certain things in the past that we might have that are not really appeasing us. Maybe we did harm to others, not because we are extra mean person, even though you guys do have a sting, but because sometimes we are hurt, and sometimes in a corner we hurt others because we think we have no other choice. Well, that generates karma. This is asking you to clean it. When the judgment reverse comes, this says that you knew better. You knew it on some level, but it was easier to do it the other way. Your homework here, guys, is to see the movie which is called The Scent of a Woman. That you will see in practice the choice between the right and wrong, and the price that we can pay for it. You guys are one of the 4 fixed signs, as that you can make a great change. because you're neither knocking the doors down nor you're cleaning the mess afterwards. You are the one who is stabilizing the entire system. This card, the World, in the other decks has 4 angels. The 4 angels are 4 fixed signs. They're holding this whole thing together. And in crisis, you can actually function like nobody else. Any fixed sign actually can do that and contribute with their own element. And when you clean this, when you face your own thing, so when you're actually going from this little scorpion to possibly a fish, right? Then you're actually going to come into this strength. Mountain generally in tarot signifies obstacles. But if you kind of look at the massiveness of this mountain in this image, and even seeing these kind of blankets of snow, you know, it kind of like gives you this sense of really immovable strength and stature, right? It is basically always something really quiet, right? But it's also, as I said, something that can pose challenges, right? So we have here the base of the mountain. And the base of the mountain kind of like is evolving to the narrower crest. And it's trying to reach the sky. Sometimes we don't see the peak. Sometimes peak is in a mist. And the mist really relates to tarot because it is that unknown. It is like, do I really need to know the goal, where I'm going, or I should do the best just where I am in order to move forward? Guys, this is telling me that you do have the strength to move forward. So do not allow yourself to absorb the cost of external influences that will be unhealthy for you. Imagine yourself do this meditation, and especially this is going to be prevalent in the second quarter. We are talking about March on. Imagine yourself as a mountain of strength that is solidly grounded. And do this without straining, because the mountain doesn't strain. This is what it is. So, situation that you'll be going through the next second quarter will be asking for you to stand solid, but not to the point of paranoia. So be that rock. You will be called to be the rock to the other people. And this is like your servitude. This is your homework in the second part. This is also asking you here possibly to heal yours or somebody else's issues. This is the Devil card, and here is called Master. What is that you want, guys? Do you really want to capture somebody's love? Does it make a difference between, let's say you're with somebody and the person says, yes, I am with you. Why is that making you feel better than just knowing that you have the feeling for the other person? This is the feeling you need to resolve. And maybe this goes back to that strength card. Because I definitely see that as a part of this light up process that you will go through, you will actually also go through some memories of love. Something that you hold dear. So remember, look at this. It's a release on the water. And the light exists in the water, which is your element. Do you really want somebody captive? Or do you want to be captivated? I think, and this is why this is coming again, that some of you may have issues of safety. Maybe you have been going through thick and thin. Maybe there were things that you didn't get in the childhood. Maybe you felt abandoned. Maybe you felt you are not that star that you always wanted to be, and you always kind of like craved to get to that. Look at all these elements that we see around this. And it says, safety comes from within. Find the safe place inside of yourself. This is going to be a biggie for you guys. You know, having the safety, not to depend if somebody else provides you love, because this is looking for the internal mountain where you can actually provide it to yourself. You need to know when you need to move on. You need to know what is life all about. And then you're going to take steps to your journey, to your labyrinth, but just kind of guiding you right where you should be. When you get this card, the symbol, this is telling me that you will be safe. You will be protected, right? This pentagram, the symbol, and especially the star one that is used in the center of this basically labyrinth. This is basically, I believe, ancient symbol of health and protection. And this is basically saying that safety comes from within you, and you need to find your own safe place. So, you know, we actually have this whole conversations about the millennials and come on, everybody needs a safe place, etc., etc. I think that you cannot grow with that. I think that by being protected and having this like open mittens with everything that you do is going to stun your growth. You will never break through this particular stone. It is literally cutting the muscle. You go to a gym, you lift your weight and your muscle ruptures and it hurts, right? And then the next day you're feeling this pain. It is like so basically enjoyable, where you're feeling this growing, you're feeling this is getting stronger. You guys have to get out of that protection zone, but not before you give yourself a safe room. Meaning you have a safe place, you have a safe evening, you have a safe person who can be there for you, even if this only means you and being this to yourself. After all, we come alone in this life and we leave alone in this life. And getting to know that and understanding that the best we can hope for this life is to kind of like be who we are, and this is our message. This is like what you guys need to go to. The third quarter is going to be really introspective because you will be going through massive change the first 6 months in 2018. And you're going to really realize this, right? Maybe you need a solitude. Maybe you're going to go on vacay yourself without really caring about the other people. Maybe you're going to go down that route feeling, ugh, all this work, Cat, for what? Look at this mountain again. I cannot take it. I don't want to wait anymore. I want things right now, right here. And guess what? You can have it. As soon as you kind of like spend some time going through realizing, like, because look at this, that you almost have 2 cards telling you the same thing, that everything is possible. And guess what? Do you think that somebody came over here on this island and kind of planted this tree? Do you think this is how it happened? I know you don't. In this basically island, you have this beautiful glassy, sea, where you kind of like see almost like respect, right? And the tree, that is like not just a tree, but is like in a full blossom. I don't know if you can see it. Beautiful little purple tree, which goes, this is your waking up, your third eye chakra. Something is growing from almost like relative starkness, and this is like where the phoenix starts to wake up, and there is this basically light of kind of like emerging and coming this way from otherwise very, very dark sky. This, guys, is an elegant reminder or how even what can seem to be completely dark or barren circumstances, there is still beauty and growth. So of course the island can be a metaphor for isolation or desolation, but this thriving tree just budded out on its own, with persistence, with going and going. And it didn't stop and say, oh, it is so hard. Oh, nobody loves me. And why the heck am I doing? It just kept going. You guys are unstoppable. This is also going to give you the sense of peace and sense of accomplishment. And the silence is always good. Silence, I mean, I always say get out the grid. At least have one day a week, get out the grid. Get in touch with your close ones, but most importantly, you have to have time for yourself. So choose again to connect with who you really are, because this is basically going to be culmination. When you start connecting, this is why it's normal that you're going to start feeling, oh my gosh, I have missed this, I have missed this. It's like going on a weight loss program and then you do it for a week and it's like, oh my god, it's so hard, I just like really I'm hungry, or I cannot do that, because you need to rip off and change everything. In your case, guys, you will realize that you need to get together with your friends, socialize and have fun. So what and who you neglected, did you really connect with them? Did you really have like almost like give and take relationship? So it's telling me, look at this, that you will go from solitude to socialize. You guys, this is now a high gear. Like all of a sudden the preparation has happened. You have prepared all the ingredients for the recipe and it is the show time, right? So do not go overboard. It's kind of like easy to get carried away on the buzz of partying and socializing. So if you find that your social life is becoming too demanding, take a good look if check how it's affecting all other areas of your life, and make sure that you take care of yourself and stay in touch with your emotional and spiritual path. But don't forget to socialize and to have fun. And as it always goes, guys, before the dawn, it's the darkest. So for those of you who maybe didn't do this work, like it looks like you don't have a choice. You basically do get this tsunami. You do know how it happens. These big, enormous waves happen because of some kind of underground activities. So there is an earthquake underground, so the water falls in. And you cannot see it on the massive level of water because it's going down. And yet there is like this spur of the huge, enormous kind of waves. And unfortunately, because the ocean is so vast, we cannot notice them. It's next to impossible until they start receding more and more. Initially, they're really frequent because of these, activity. When they start being big, they have about 30-minute delays, but then become deadly. So you really have to start looking things around you, what can come and swamp you, because this also is a water. So you have water elements in the last 3 quarters. Just like in the first one, you're not so much called upon it, other than this card, because that will be the Chariot in the other decks, which is Cancer. It's also considered to be the water sign, right? And then you have the water here, you have the water here, you have the water here. You guys are coming to who you are. You are being reprogrammed. So it is a time for Scorpio to get a new hard drive, and not any hard drive, top of the line hard drive. So which means you have to take everything down, you have to reconfigure every little thing up. And here, maybe you are getting lost on the other side, right? And there will be last kind of like things that you still need to check in. Believe and succeed. Do you believe in yourself? Because look, this is not just a boat. This boat is becoming a starship. Your starship to what? What kind of friendships do you want to have? Ships. What kind of relationships do you want to have? Ships. What kind of partnerships you want to have? Because this is that ultimate success. It is relating to this card of Memories of Love. Who do you need to leave behind? And what do you have to go back to address once for all and leave it? Because this is coming in a way of you activating your third chakra. Which opportunities did you lose? Which opportunities did you turn your back to? What felt like something that's going to last forever that just like fell apart? And why did you lose the courage? Remember, you have been already dealing with it. Are you going to allow life to take over you, or you will finally take this garbage and admire this little tiny plant that could be stronger than sometimes we are as humans? So do not allow you to fall down. And if you do, dust yourself off and keep going, because your ultimate prize is here. You're getting 21. You're getting the world. You're getting everything. Your process will be finished. Your heart chakra lights up, but so your crown chakra, so your third eye chakra. So this one is going to light up first, because you're going to all of a sudden start seeing visions, start seeing things differently. You will have that X-ray vision. The moments are amazing when this happens. You literally, I talk to people and I'm feeling almost like a buzz of their life coming through me. You will be really realizing who is that they are, what is that they need. You have this little flower over here. So see, the sun is saying, I have already opened up. I'm giving as much light as possible. And here you're finally absorbing it and you are becoming this light. Light means you clean the garbage. You are able to be and function in a completely new and a completely different level. So let's see the houses. Let's see how this year is going to go through your astrological houses. All right, Scorpio, let's look into your houses. Let's see simply like how different aspects of your life are going to basically deal with you and how you can deal back with them. The start in your first house is your, I would say, I am awareness of yourself. Some of you are starting this year very sad, devastated. Some of you have been crying over something. Something has been lost. It kind of like is really hard for you to separate yourself from it. But this is telling you that the growth does happen. You need to allow it to happen. This is my vice versa tarot from the same lady who did my mystic, or what do you call it, pagan mystic cats, I believe. Mystic cats, yeah. And Lunea, and absolutely I love it. For this type of reading, this is really perfect. So guys, first house is appearance and outward personality. You have to understand that you're a Scorpio. Scorpio has immense powers. You are fixed signs. Fixed signs are movers and shakers. You can create or you can destroy as a fixed sign. That's why in the cards you're shown as an angel. And that's why you're given more struggles in your life, because the universe wants to make sure you're a good angel. So if you get into this mood, it's like an avalanche of river of cries coming down. Let it out. Remember your reading? You need to let it out. You need to let this sun start to shine in. Because the second house is talking about personal resources. Talks about money, possessions, values, skills, what you have. We are talking here about the sun card. Are you going to be burned by the sun? Or are you going to enjoy things by the sun and kind of nourish them? Look, there is this planting of something completely new, a new life, new celebration. You guys might be merging with someone. Money is not going to be a problem this year. You have possibly the best possible card that actually is appearing. You, in fact, I see it here, like in many different segments of your life, you will be challenged. But you are challenged with a purpose to become the best you can be. This, as far as your values, as far as your skills, you're going to be soaring out. Remember how I said, let's go from the Scorpion to Phoenix. So here, in this particular aspect of your life, you can actually soar already. Now, this is about your immediate environment. This is about your immediate thoughts. And look, that will be you. That will be Queen of Cups. You are kind of trying to figure out if this immediate environment is actually making any sense. This is talking about mental activity, learning, siblings, and communication. You will kind of like cut certain things off, minimize. It's not going to serving you well anymore. You have been the source of the strength and pillar of the strength. Look at this throne she's sitting on. But you know what? Right now, you have to reach for the stars. This is like where you have to be. Your mental activity has to be focused onto something else. Razor, third eye chakra. You have to figure out who should be kind of like under your guidance and under your codes, and who shouldn't be. Simply, you have to get rid of the viruses. And then you have this one here, which is the house number 4. And this talks about home, parents, roots, and inner security. And you couldn't find a better card for this. Ace of Pentacles. Check this out. It's a toss. It's a joy. You can see the both sides of this card. It's just like so amazing. There is this lushness. I think you guys are sort of like getting in touch with your roots. What is important in life? Where do you want to head to? Who are the people who are your family? This is not just the blood family. This is basically the people who make you secure and safe. Remember the cards that you had? This will be very important for your I nurture standpoint in life. So let's look at the fun house. This is about romance, children, fun, and creativity. And how do you serve your personal kind of like creativity? And you have this like 9 of Cups. 9 of Cups is, and you have the 9s here. You guys have to reconfigure yourself. 9s are ultimately, what does this Scorpio want? Where do you really want to look? And when you look, what do you see? Can you fly? Can you rise to become that phoenix? Right? Because look at this, 2, 4, 6, 8, 9. In the 8th stage is leaving. Some of you might think, well, I made it. I have it. That's not how life works. You keep going forward. You keep growing. Remember that tree on that solitary island? What? Do you think the tree just grows up and says, that's it, I'm retired right now? Doesn't work like that. And you're going to get it this year. This is happening in your house of romance, children, fun, creativity. You will be actually giving them a really big gift, which is like you loving yourself. But you loving yourself doesn't mean they're excluded. This means this is going to be enormous emotional engagement because you are able to give extreme amount of it. But also you will be able to be extremely self-nourishing as well, and kind of like enjoy really things that you enjoy doing. Finding things that are sort of nourishment from the inside. Now, tricky part. House number 6. And house number 6 talks about work, health, possibly self-improvement, service. And look at that. You have this Knight of Swords. But here, it's a light. It is not a sword. It's a lightning bolt. What is true, what is not true. And this is kind of like really funny. Sometimes we turn our eyes away from something that we know is going to cost us, because doing the right thing is expensive. Yes. And we live in a society where most people don't do the right thing. I cannot see everybody because I know there are exceptions. But these people who are those exceptions are the people who are paving the way for the others. This is your I serve. Who do you serve? Do you serve yourself or do you serve everybody? Like these two cards are absolutely connecting, saying that it's possible to do both. You need to kind of nourish yourself, but you also need to speak your truth and demand the truth and nothing but the truth from the others. Partner might be redefined. You may have suffered some losses. And you may have still the same concepts of how you continue to date in the same way, in the same fashion that you always did. But maybe you have been betrayed, my dear Scorpio. This is a painful card. It talks about, look, it's frozen. It's a shield, but you did withhold this attacks and attempts. Something that has been tearing you down. The very sense of who you are. They took away possibly that ability from you to fly, to kind of regenerate yourself into this phoenix. But look, maybe it is a time to say your thanks to this. Because maybe that shield did protect you. Maybe it was for the best. You kind of have to realize, you see this little grow, this beautiful kind of flower coming out in this rain. And there is like basically light shining on it. It is time to let bygones be bygones and move on. You need something different. You are demanding, let's say you're at a restaurant, you're going for a 4-star Michelin restaurant. You are no longer eating a burger. You want something nutritious, you want something that is good for you, or you want something that looks good. And you are not going to. You are not debating this. You are absolutely aware what you can contribute, and you're absolutely aware who are the people who did hurt you, who can hurt you. This is coming in a house of a partner. I do have to warn you. Seeing this in this house is making me think that one of the issues you're going to have to repair this year is the balance between pleasing your partner and pleasing yourself. Pleasing yourself is a must. And you had the socialized cards. It sounds like maybe we can go overboard. We can end up too much pleasing ourselves. And partner can feel neglected. It's the key is to find the balance. And balance you will find. Because here it talks about sex, death, letting go, regeneration, other people's money sharing. Oh, that's basically your house, right? That's your 8th house, a house of a Scorpio. And Scorpio needs to figure it out for themselves. You have the Hermit here. Hermit is always looking for answers within himself. The Snake is around us like new egg, new growth, something new, completely new, brand new is coming and happening. He is holding this possibility. And there is loyalty. By you doing the right thing, by you kind of like regrowing yourself as something new, there you are, again, soaring. This solitude, remember that we have seen, like in your general overview, will really, really be your path to success. Not loneliness, solitude, connecting with who you really, really are. So let's see the explorations. This talks about house number 9, about higher education, philosophy, publishing, religion, I don't know, travel, law. If you're doing some kind of legal things, you might win, yet lose. You might lose, yet realize this is not for me. So what do I mean? People can kind of like bend down to you, and at the time you'll feel that is a victory. You will not realize that actually you technically cannot win in love or in life. Especially, which kind of this can come close to the other people, because they will just turn their back and they will just leave you. They will say, enough is enough. I had it, I had enough, you win, but I'm no longer with you. You know what they say, do you want to win or do you want to be right? No, do you want to be right or do you want to be happy? Pardon me. This is one of those situations. And it's going to come, higher education, religion, travel, law. On this kind of like areas, you'll have to figure out that you don't impose your will, because I am not even talking about collaboration. I'm just talking about this area will be challenging. You will actually be able to see if somebody is the right fit, if you're the right fit for certain things, and don't try to push yourself where you're not supposed to go. Then we are going about I achieve, the house number 10, career, status, reputation, vocational purpose, and taking your own power. So the Empress. The Empress is the first stage of, especially for the ladies, kind of developing that femininity, right? Again, we have the eagle over here. She is a ruler of this like guiding star. She's definitely a mother. She's definitely a creator, right? But this is reversed over here. Or, you know, it's like we are seeing her back. But then again, look at that. There is like something still happening. She still is realizing she has to be rock for everybody else, right? So she shouldn't be neglecting her own needs just to give and give and give. This is asking you to kind of nourish it. So career, status, reputation, you should really take a little bit more time and kind of more investment. Just showing up is not good enough. And this also is asking you to nourish other people. Go an extra mile. I saw that movie, which kind of is a silly movie with Jim Carrey, Yes Man. Saying yes to helping other people will take you really, really far. If nothing else, to be exploration, to be the journey. And I think this is where this kind of like links. Be very careful not to be the winner this year. Try to see consensus. Try to see how things can be worked together that people feel they kind of took some kind of ownership of that victory. And that's going to actually push you and propel you in your career. Because, and again, you have yet another eagle. Like, can't you see, guys? You're becoming an eagle. This is coming in I Aspire category, in group contribution. Your house number 11. That would be the house of Aquarius, right? Friends, groups, goals, aspiration. You need to do that. That's the socializing part. Maybe you neglected socializing. Maybe you narrowed down your circle. Maybe it's the same old, same old. Maybe you are just reinforcing the ideas that you have. You're not opening your mind. This is asking you to open your mind. This is asking you to kind of like soar. Try to expand. And then again, this is that. Remember how you had tsunami? Tsunami is like something that you absolutely cannot do when it happens. You can really kind of like apply things that already are tried and true. So this is that secretive house. This is your spiritual life. This is basically I Dream house number 12. And this does talk about solitude and institutions and self-sabotage. And guess what you're getting? You're getting hangman. This hangman in this situation is somebody who willfully submitted himself or herself to the situation, saying, you know what, now I see the wrong of my ways. Tell me what I need to understand the situation. So it's going to be very important to spend this like time in transcendence and trying to figure out what is that other people see, right? Get the wisdom, because this seems to be coming to you so many times. So in summary, guys, you will have a few challenging parts over here. Certain things will be coming from the past to the surface. Certain things, because look at it soaring. You have to soar. Literally, you'll be pushed into that. So you can as well do the work, because if you don't do the work, this is who you end up being. If you do the work, you're ending up being this eagle. So you need to work on how do you process emotions. What is rejection for you? Maybe some of you didn't speak your own truth. Maybe some of you didn't sit on this throne. And sitting on a throne doesn't mean I'm better than you, because it's not either or. It's not like it's this or this. No. There are like issues such as growth, such as loyalty. who you're loyal to, who is loyal to you. What makes you happy? What do you want to grow? Something is going to be really, really planted, especially when it comes to your family. This is going to be a big engagement in this life. And family is something that most of us, we kind of tuck it away. That just comes as natural thing. No, it is a biggie. This is the core. This is who you are. You are the product of your parents, of your grandparents, of your ancestors. And you will be giving this product further down the road if you're a parent. This is really important. You are setting something else up, something that is going to be really important, where you can engage somebody else in life and give them a gift that transcends just the blood and breathing, something that is going to be something spectacular. So by healing your own issues, you're actually healing the world. So okay, let's guys go into the quick overviews that goes down to other sets. All right, Scorpio, so let's see what I can see in this year. Lenormand, it's kind of like a different tool. It kind of like gives situations that could be coming your way. And there is a lady as a significator, there is a gentleman. But we also can see the snake and the whip as people, and the child as people, and kind of circumstantial kind of things that can surround us in a sense. So again, you're starting with the mountain, which kind of like seems to be on all levels. You have to conquer the challenges, and it is also followed with the sun. Kind of like it's going to be hard, and you need to resolve it, and you will even doubt it if you actually got where you have to be. You need to put some stuff behind you. You absolutely need to put some stuff behind you. Besides, again, there's the socializing. The socializing is going to help you walk this mountain. It's not going to look that cold and that like an enemy. It's going to be much easier. If you guys are trying to move this year somewhere, you will be looking for solutions. You will be looking for also solutions that are connected to your work. And the work, just like what we saw, is going to be swerving with activities. You'll be really dedicating things to love and the fate. Fate is something that you guys are having in your hands this year. Fate, and what is your commitment? Where is your home? What makes you happy? Who is the person? There is somebody new showing up, guys. Or somebody old. Somebody tantalizing. But you're also cutting, some of you are also cutting the old things because they are not part of who you are anymore. Even though they meant to you so much. Maybe some of you had children with them. Some of you will actually have children this year. And people from the past will come up at the last moment, at the 12th hour. There could be long distance relationships, but there will be lots of trouble this year. Mini trouble. Trouble by the land. You will not necessarily want to go on all these troubles, but oh my gosh, the year is going to start that way. Almost like waking you up. You're not going to have lots of corners where you can just sit and rest. It's going to be lots of things on your mind as the center of this year. Who are your commitments? Who do you want to commit to? What kind of job do you want to do? Some of you will decide to go self-employed way and kind of like try to get enough either licenses or education to move into some other direction. It's going to be the year of discoveries and the year of crossroads. You will first conquer your career. It looks like that's going to be the first thing you will tackle on. Some of you might actually change your jobs from something that is like regular 9-to-5 employment. Maybe it's going to be some kind of manipulation or some kind of suffering that you have at this job. Maybe the conditions of work are not exactly what you want. Maybe it's not in a place where you want to work. Maybe you want to move. And you actually want something that is going to give you ability to feel your home, this kind of bear. And maybe you're going to be a little bit disoriented after maybe something happens. That might happen in the first quarter. That's again, that kind of like sun and the mountain which you had there as well. In the first 6 months for sure. At the end of that period, you will have this emergence of what is important to me and what is my fate. Maybe even feeling a little bit down because you're coming down to the end of the spread. You're going to be raising all these mistakes, worries to the surface, problems. It's all going to come to you like swarm of bees. And it's kind of hard when you're attacked like that to think, hey, I need to get there. You're literally just like deflecting. You have to raise above that because this is the lesson that you have to minimize the small things. Don't sweat the small stuff. Because you guys, as I see, somebody is going to be cut off. Somebody who may be very sexy. So now let's talk about sex. Did I wake you up? You guys are the sign that rules that area. There will be sex. It could be even involvement with somebody from work. Be careful. That will explode in your face. Don't do it. Otherwise, it could be something really secretive and something that's not going to last until mid-year. Then, all of a sudden, you're addressing your faith. You did enough work. You did let the garbage out. It is a time to cut out things and people that are not productive anymore and go for the right thing. It could be you moving and finally, almost like it's a new chapter, new life starts. It could be a new job. It could be something fresh that happens in your life that takes this destiny in a completely new direction. I see the end of the year, other than cutting certain things off or cutting somebody off, and you getting really wise about it. It might not be the easiest decision in the world, but it's going to be the right one. It's going to be something that you really want. Or you're going to be setting new conditions for the new growth. Where is the ring here? Where is the ring? Over here. The ring is here. Some of you guys might even marry. I see the key connected to the ring, connected to the house, connected to the moon child and the clock tower. I do see somebody will end up married and with the child. And for some of you, could be people from the past that you are getting rid of. For the others, will be people from the past coming back and rehashing the romance. It's going to go both ways. You will actually know at that stage which crossroad to take. You will be much smarter this year. So my dear Scorpio, I have pulled one more card and it says, come to the edge. And I'm pretty sure you are a game for this one. This is like so much up your kind of like laneway. So, 36. This is what it says. Facing the unknown is the only choice you really have right now if you want to progress. It's okay to be afraid. Now it's the time to take the risk that is not calculated, to feel the exhilaration as you ready yourself for a leap of faith. Spirit is present, so let go of fear. You are called to express your true self. Listen to your heart and soul, not your head. Come to the edge and discover that you can fly. You must step into the unfamiliar so that you may find your miracles. And relationship message. It is scary to be truly intimate with someone, to allow him or her to see all of you, especially the parts that you have kept hidden and protected. Now it is the time to take that risk and let yourself be seen, truly seen. It is important that you speak up. Voice what you need. State who you are. Say what you hope for. This is not the time to play it safe, but to take a leap of faith. You'll be glad you did. If you're seeking a relationship, the same applies. Take one step toward the gods and they will deliver what you truly desire. So guys, this goes back to me telling you clean the garbage out. Because imagine meeting the partner, the woman or the man of your life, and what happens? You are not the woman or the man of their life because you didn't do the work. So do your work, and this is happening this year. Enjoy 2018. I would love to hear from you. And guys, for those of you who have ordered this special reading, you get a karma reading for $100. So this is $20 off. And also, please feel free to take any of my readings. I'm glad to talk to you. I'm glad to guide you. So just so you know, my readings are not fluffy. I don't just tell you just, this is what I see. I kind of guide you. So to get a reading with me, you have to be prepared to do the work. Scorpio, thank you so much for being here with me, for listening all of this. And I really hope we are going to continue on this journey together. Love you.